Está usted en el CD 6. Observará que el español ha desaparecido totalmente. Trate de entender lo que se dice en inglés. Si no fuera posible, le aconsejamos que vuelva al CD anterior.
Learning to pronounce in English correctly.
Incorrect pronunciations. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Correct pronunciations. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they.
Repeat good pronunciations in English.
Bad pronunciation.
Good pronunciation.
Mine.
Mine.
Yours.
Yours.
His.
His.
Hers.
Hers.
Theirs.
Theirs.
Go.
Go.
Come.
Come.
Drink.
Drink.
Eat.
It.
Ignore.
No.
Can.
Can.
Wait.
Wait. Verbs.
Have.
Have.
Do.
Do.
Miss.
Miss.
Read.
Read.
Write.
Write.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Tell.
Tell.
Say.
Say.
Bad. I go to London.
Good. I go to London.
Quickly. I go to London.
I go to London.
Bad. I came from Liverpool.
Good. I came from Liverpool.
Quickly. I came from Liverpool.
I came from Liverpool.
Bad. I know Mary.
Good. I know Mary.
Quickly. I know Mary.
I know Mary.
Bad. I waiting for you.
Good. I'm waiting for you.
Quickly. I'm waiting for you.
I'm waiting for you.
Bad. I drink coffee.
Good. I drink coffee.
Quickly. I drink coffee.
I drink coffee.
Bad. I read a newspaper.
Good. I read a newspaper.
Quickly. I read a newspaper.
I read a newspaper.
Bad. I write a letter.
Good. I write a letter.
Quickly. I write a letter.
I write a letter.
Bad. I missed you.
Good. I miss you.
Quickly. I miss you.
I miss you.
Bad. I can't go.
Good. I can't go.
Quickly. I can't go.
I can't go.
Bad. Where is it?
Good. Where is it?
Quickly. Where is it?
Where is it?
Bad. Can you give me?
Good. Can you give me?
Quickly. Can you give me?
Can you give me?
Bad. Could you tell me?
Good. Could you tell me?
Quickly. Could you tell me?
Could you tell me?
Bad. Can I have?
Good. Can I have?
Quickly. Can I have?
Can I have?
Bad. Play with me?
Good. Play with me?
Quickly. Play with me?
Play with me?
Bad. Would you like?
Good. Would you like?
Quickly. Would you like?
Would you like?
Bad. How much is it?
Good. How much is it?
Quickly. How much is it?
How much is it?
Bad. Do you have a car?
Good. Do you have a car?
Quickly. Do you have a car?
Do you have a car?
Bad. I want that book.
Good. I want that book.
Quickly. I want that book.
I want that book.
Bad. I'm going to.
Good. I'm going to.
Quickly. I'm going to.
I'm going to.
Bad. I talked with him.
Good. I talked to him.
Quickly. I talked to him.
I talked to him.
Bad. I walked this morning.
Good. I walked this morning.
Quickly. I walked this morning.
I walked this morning. I walked this morning. I walked this morning. I walked this morning.
Bad. He called me.
Good. He called me.
Quickly. He called me.
He called me. He called me. He called me. He called me.
Bad. She jumped.
Good. She jumped.
Quickly. She jumped.
She jumped. She jumped. She jumped. She jumped.
Bad. They failed.
Good. They failed.
Quickly. They failed.
They failed. They failed. They failed. They failed.
Bad. He wanted to cash a check.
Good. He wanted to cash a check.
Quickly. He wanted to cash a check.
He wanted to cash a check. He wanted to cash a check. He wanted to cash a check.
Bad. A poet write poetry.
Good. A poet writes poetry.
Quickly. A poet writes poetry.
A poet writes poetry. A poet writes poetry. A poet writes poetry. A poet writes poetry.
In English, negative sentences can be constructed in two ways: with the verb and not, or with the contraction of the verb and not. Examples: I have not got a car.
I haven't got a car. I haven't got a car. I haven't got a car. I haven't got the car.
I do not write letters.
I don't write letters. I don't write letters. I don't write letters. I don't write letters.
I do not run.
I don't run. I don't run. I don't run. I don't run.
I am not cold.
I'm not cold. I'm not cold. I'm not cold. I'm not cold.
I am not French.
I'm not French. I'm not French. I'm not French. I'm not French.
It is not yellow.
It isn't yellow. It isn't yellow. It isn't yellow. It isn't yellow.
It is not a boy.
It isn't a boy. It isn't a boy. It isn't a boy. It isn't a boy.
I do not go to the cinema.
I don't go to the cinema. I don't go to the cinema. I don't go to the cinema. I don't go to the cinema.
He does not have a house.
He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have a house.
She does not go to work.
She doesn't go to work. She doesn't go to work. She doesn't go to work.
She doesn't go to work.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
What are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
What are you trying to do?
What are you trying to do?
What are you trying to do?
Why have you come?
Why have you come?
Why have you come? Can't you hear me?
Can't you hear me?
Can't you hear me?
Aprendiendo a conversar en inglés.
Ahora va a vivir usted una serie de situaciones. Debe intentar mantener estas situaciones mediante una conversación en inglés.
Learning to converse in English. Good morning. My name is Baker. You must be the person who's come for the interview for a works engineer. If you would wait a moment, we could attend you in 10 minutes. Would you like to have a coffee? Could you come into the office, please? I'd like to present you to our psychologist, Peggy.
Hello, good morning. My name is Peggy Stevens and I'm the psychologist of the company. Nice to meet you.
I want you to ask him about his experience in engineering at our level.
Okay. If you don't mind, we're going to ask you some questions to fill in this form. Personal questions. Can you tell me your complete name, please? And how old are you? Where are you from? Are you married? Do you have children? Your address? Your telephone number? Your cell phone number? Of course, you have a driving license and a car.
Now, I would like to ask you about your studies. Which university did you go to? What did you study? What type of engineering? Did you get a master's degree? What was your position in your last company? Do you enjoy working in engineering? Have you ever worked in quality engineering?
How many languages do you speak? Oh, you speak Spanish? That's interesting, John.
Could be a good thing for our distributors in South America.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It could be very helpful for our department in the company we have in Argentina.
Yeah. Do you mind traveling? Does this bother your family if I have to travel overseas? Well, that's good. What do you think, Becky?
I think it's a good idea. It could be very helpful.
Yes. How many years experience do you have? In which companies have you worked? What is the highest post you've attained? Have you always worked technically or have you done commercial work?
Which are your hobbies? Oh, you like tennis? John, like you. You could play together.
Well, you could also, if your boyfriend would let you.
Very funny, John. I like playing tennis, but I don't play as much as you.
Yes, but you play better than me. Even they play less.
Well, women always play better.
Of course.
Do you like to read? What book are you reading now?
Well, I like that author also. I think Wilbur Smith is a very good author.
I prefer Stephen King. He's more mysterious.
Yes, but I like books about adventure, things that I haven't seen.
Do you like music? What kind of music do you listen to?
I like jazz.
I prefer classical music. Don't you like classical music?
Don't you like jazz?
Okay, John, I think we should explain what we do in this company.
Our company is dedicated to the manufacture and export of computers all over the world. We receive vast small parts from India and Japan, and they are assembled in the plant in the north.
How do you think you would feel working in a company like this? What benefits do you think you could give the company? Are you a dynamic and active person?
How many hours did you work each week in the company where you were before?
Which would be a good salary for you working in this company?
Well, that's reasonable. It's within the levels that are paid in this company.
What do you think, John?
Well, I think that his experience is adequate, and I'm very interested in his... He can speak Spanish, and this is very good from my point of view, because I'm interested in putting somebody who can control the part of South America, and I'm quite happy I'll be quite happy to contract him now.
Well, I think he's a very dynamic person and he's very grateful. He really fits for the job.
Good. All right, then, I'm pleased to offer you the job. The salary is 70,000 euros per year. Do you agree with this? Will you be happy to work in this company?
Well, good. Welcome to the company. I hope to see you around here soon.
Aprendiendo a contestar en inglés.
Learning to answer in English. Try to answer Peggy.
How long will it take us to get to Rome? 2 hours more? No, yes, but I'm a little bit tired. Hello, good afternoon. Could you please tell me where the Monaco Hotel is, please? Hello, good afternoon. My husband and me have a reservation, and he's waiting outside for someone to go to park the car. Okay, thank you. Can you give me the room number and the key, please? Okay, thank you. I will wait for my husband here. I'm looking for an apartment, a rented apartment. Can you help me? And is it a house or an apartment? Okay, I'm interested in a small apartment. And are they in the center of the city? I prefer the center of the city. Can we visit it in the afternoon because my husband works in the mornings. Okay, and can you tell me the price, more or less? A deposit. Okay. And in this case, it's 1 month or more? Okay, and I will phone you tomorrow morning? Okay, thank you. Good morning. I'm Peggy, the new designer. Are you John? Nice to meet you. Where are you from? How long have you been here? Why did you come? And what have you been doing since you came? Are you married? I'm married too. Do you have children? I don't have children. Do you live in the city or in the outsides? And do you like it? I like the city. I prefer it. I'm looking for an apartment in the center. I think I would never get used to living in the outsides. Yes, that's what I think. Because in the outsides, there's not a lot of services. And what about the transportation? Do you have a car? It's a nice day today. It's sunny. Well, it's not that hot. By the way, do you have a CD in your car? The truth is that I'm very happy with my laptop. It has webcam, it has microphone, it's very modern. Do you want to see it? Okay. At what time do we start working? And what time do we finish? And it must be difficult for you to share your work and your family life, because if you work from 9 to 7, oh, so you go to have lunch to your house? Oh, so have you traveled a lot? Can you tell me something about the company? What is your opinion about the director? I don't know him. So, do you like New York? And does your wife work? And how old are your children? And how did your family get up with the change of countries? Shall we go?
In English, we don't say, "Don't pull my hair." The equivalent phrase in English is, "Don't pull my leg." Don't pull my leg. Or don't pull my leg. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Don't push me. Don't push me. Don't push me. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Or leave me alone. Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell. It's up this shit. It's a fucking brownie. Bad luck. Bad luck. Bad luck. Piss off. Fuck off. If you don't stop, you'll pay the consequence. Make my day? Make my day. Stop, don't move. I'm going to read you your rights. You are detained. I'm going to read you your rights. You can't enter here. Free passage is not allowed. Don't screw me, eh? Don't fuck me around. Here's a yob. Son of a bitch. Get out of the way. Keep away from the door. learn to understand real English. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. President. My name is John Baker, and the theme for this evening for our discussion are the phrases of Shakespeare, the Old English of Shakespeare, and the way he used his English to create his theatrical works in the 16th century. Now, let's take for instance Hamlet and the famous phrase, "To be or not to be?" That is the question. Will it be in the mind or in the soul? Now this has deeper themes. One can say, to be and not to be what? It's a matter of life or death. This is what he was thinking about. As you might say, in Henry V, which was another work of Shakespeare, and before the Battle of Agincourt, Henry V stood on a mound and said to his troops, "I will strip my sleeve and show my scars and say, these wounds I got on Crispin's Day. And Crispin's Day shall never go by until the ending of the world. Shall ne'er go by. Ne'er. Will never go by." An old word in English which has been gone now for 500 years. But Shakespeare used his language very well. These days, the works of Shakespeare are acted in modern language, and the plots of the plays, of the theatrical plays to say, they are quite modern in their concept. For instance, The Midsummer Night's Dream, the actual plot of this play has been used in numerous plays by different authors, but it's a plot. It's like anything else. Shakespeare, apart from being an inventor in the theatre, he became an inventor of plots that were going to be used through many, many, many years after his death in many, many countries, using the same languages. Is to say, Guy de Maupassant, the French author, used plots that Shakespeare used in The Merchant of Venice, for instance, and other plays of Shakespeare. There still exists the language of Shakespeare, especially in the north of England, for instance, where one would say you, they say thee, or where you would say he would say thou. And it's like biblical language, but the people in Yorkshire, for instance, or in the north of Derbyshire, in the centre of England, they use this language. So if they have to read one of the old manuscripts of Shakespeare, they would have no problem, because the words are the ones that they use every day. Another way to think about Shakespeare is that even though he didn't really leave England, I don't believe, but he was able to write about Venice, he was able to write about, for instance, Romeo and Juliet, which is probably, it was an old fairy tale from Italy, and he took this and dramatized it. And it became very famous because he dramatized it. If he'd not dramatized it, nobody would know about it, only the people who live in Verona, for instance. But Shakespeare has done a lot for the theatre, well, I suppose still doing it, but he's still using his plots. And I think the very greatest heritage, the greatest prize that he's gained, that if you go to Rome, there's a park and you'll find Shakespeare there, as you'll find Byron, Keats, Shelley, and all these people. Thank you very much. historical phrases. Never in the scale of human conflict has so much been owed by so many to so few.
We are waiting difficult times, times of blood and sweat and tears, but we shall win.
If a king is not good for his people, he's not a good king.
A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Don't ask what America can do for you. Ask yourself what you can do for America. I'm also a Berliner.
In Hartford, Hereford and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Don't stand if you can sit, and don't sit if you can lie down. Seek not time when time is past. You can take a pound of his flesh, but not a drop of his blood. A loaf of bread and a skin of wine, a new milo in the wilderness. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. In neither piety nor wit can change a word of it. The Pharaoh said, we said it this way, it's written this way, and this is the way it will be done. In one place in La Mancha, whose name I don't want to remember, she sells seashells on the seashore. Good evening. I'd like to speak this evening about my experiences with being in Spain and how I see the Spanish people. Well, the Spanish people are very different from the north to the south. That's the first thing you must say, because in the north of Spain, against the Pyrenees, the people are serious, the weather is cold, the food is very heavy in many cases. In the center of Spain, that's where the north center of Spain is where you get the good wines, and the people have tendency more to celebration, and the characters of the people are still more serious. I mean, you can't make a joke with some of the people from the very north of Spain. And one thing you must never do in Spain is criticize anything that's Spanish, because they think that, and they're very cruel, and in some of the cases they're right. For instance, they think that La Rioja, the wine, is the best that there is. Well, I agree with them, but I like Vega Sicilia, which is from Valladolid, with the Castilla. But the Spanish are very fervor in their defense of their heritage, which is very rich. For a start, the language, the Spanish or Castilian language, is probably one of the most richest languages in expression that there is. It has more grammar than anybody. It's easier to express in Spanish than in other languages. And wherever they speak this language, one can say that they will be understood, one way or another. The people in the south are lighter-hearted people. They like more the fiesta, as to say, the siesta and the fiesta. They're also very proud. You can't say that their ham, or jamon, as they say, is not as good as somebody else's. Theirs is the best, and everything of what they've got is the best. And the Mediterranean diet, which is also considered as the best, of course, that's just publicity, but in any case. I feel that the Spanish in general are a very proud people, and they've a right to be proud, because in the history, the best painters were also, my major part of them were Spanish, like Velázquez, for instance, Goya, who helped to get the French out of Spain during the period when France occupied Spain, the Napoleon dictatorship, as it would be called. I feel that the Spanish have a right to be proud. I like Spain because of the weather, basically, and the food. Because if I lived where I came from, I would have to come here for my holidays. So I prefer to live here and go where I came from for my holiday. This way, any day I want in the year, I can go to the beach. And that's another thing, when you go to the beach. When you get on a beach here in Spain, it's not like on other beaches in the world where it's totally isolated in the sense that nobody speaks to you. The people tend to all talk to each other. However, there are things that I don't like that on the beaches in Spain, is that when they put the table and then they start to play cards and drinking the bottles of wine and singing and that, of course, it's if you're trying to sleep in the sun, it's not very good for you. I also like the northeast part of Spain. Galicia is very nice. The Galicia of the Celtic descent, like the Welsh or the Irish or the Scots or the North English. And they have the very same characteristics in the culture as the Scots, for instance. The people from Asturias and from in Spain and from Galicia are now taken to wearing kilts. Well, they didn't do this before, but now they see that since the democracy has begun in Spain, everybody's trying to find their own identity. And the Basques have found their identity, and the Galicians have found their identity, and the people from Asturias and from Catalonia. So everybody is proud of their own area in Spain. I was very surprised when I went to Mallorca once to find that the culture in Mallorca is totally different from the culture, for instance, in Ibiza. And even more different from the culture in Minorca, which has a base English culture. Because when Wellington used Minorca as his base, he introduced a lot of not important things into the island, but like gin and the way that they opened the doors, the door handles of the old English type, and the actual windows, the way to open the windows vertically, that's an old English way of opening windows. And there's a lot of English words still exist in Minorcan, which is the Minorcan language. In the Canary Islands, which, even though it's Africa, is Spain, there's a different culture again altogether, that they almost like South American people in a way, even in the way they talk, because they've got a tropical climate most of the year. They're volcanic islands, and these people, to make a living, they've got to be very intelligent. For instance, when you see the way they grow bananas or whatever they grow, they have to be protected from the wind, or protected or given artificial soil, because most of it's volcanic ash that's under these islands, you see. And other thing about the Canary Islands is that it is a great escape for the people in Europe. This is another reason why I like Spain, of course, is because I consider Spain is the place where one should go and retire. However, I came here to work, and I'm still working. They didn't let me retire yet. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, I'm here to give a short conference on Rolls-Royce Limited. Why Rolls-Royce attained perfection? The reason was because the originators, the people who founded the company, Sir Henry Royce and Rolls, were a type of persons who only accepted the best. That is, the saying of Sir Henry Royce was that if it's worth doing, do it well. I started work at Rolls-Royce at the lowest level and came out at the highest level, as to say. I started in the stores, and this is a humble job, you know. But even at this level, everything that's done in the company has to be absolutely correct, perfect. Before computers were were invented, and people used to use slide rules, one of the few companies in the world who did not allow the use of slide rules was Rolls-Royce. One had to use calculus to calculate. They thought that slide rules were guessing sticks. A guessing stick is a guessing stick. It isn't exact. And they only like things that are exact. When on a surface, a normal company would ask for a tolerance of plus or minus 5 for a finish, then Rolls-Royce would be plus or minus 3 zeros and a 7, is to say a tolerance much finer than even the bearing manufacturers sometimes use. And for bearings at Rolls-Royce, for the insertion of bearings on shafts, the tolerance was even closer than that. But that's just one aspect. There's an anecdote which comes from the relationship between Boeing and Rolls-Royce. When they were making this first space shuttles, that is the space capsules, they were trying to invent a type of ceramic tile that would resist a terrific heat on its re-entry into the atmosphere. Now, this was a combined project between Rolls-Royce and Boeing and another company that I think it was McDonnell Douglas, who designed a type of fibre to be mixed with a ceramic. And the Boeing people sent a sample of this to Rolls-Royce that being the finest possible fibre wire as you could produce. And Rolls-Royce sent it back with a hole drilled down the centre. So that's just to show that the precision that they can work to. Later, when I was at Rolls-Royce, I worked in design in the central offices in Derby in England, and we were working on the construction of what now is the beginnings of the Trent, and what the engine to Wabi 163, which was put into the Harrier. Now it wasn't the design of the engine as such, it was the design which the object of this was to achieve an engine with low consumption of low noise volume that would be adequate to power at a minimum of 30,000 pounds thrust an aeroplane. Whereas most other companies had gone for single shaft engines, Rolls-Royce went for multiple shaft engines. That is, that one rotary shaft would be fitted within another rotary shaft, which would be fitted within another rotary shaft, which meant that the engines were shorter, it meant that they were more silent, and it meant they'd use less fuel. That's an easy way to say it, but in the details, this can be explained. But the basic of all this is like whatever was done on the Rolls-Royce cars, which were the perfection in engineering, has been carried on in the aircraft industry, in the aircraft engines, in the gas turbines. Rolls-Royce cars were so perfect in their production that what they would do, in those days the suspensions on the cars were laminas of steel. So what they would do, so that these things didn't squeak when the car ran along the road, they used to be finely milled, and then they were rubbed down with jeweler's rouge until they were put together, and you could not get penetrating liquids between the two surfaces, and this done by hand. And the painting of a Rolls-Royce car was always done by hand, and still is to this day. They use a different form of cataphoresis. They don't use the multiple form cataphoresis because they can't put a Rolls-Royce car in a tank. But in any case, now Rolls-Royce cars are not a car that you can go out and buy. It's a car that is made to order, like the Lamborghini, for instance. There are cars that are so perfect. I imagine that the Lamborghini is close to being perfect also. But Rolls-Royce will be difficult to pass.
Bye-bye.
Bye.